Hi everyone, I'm going to do a quick overview and demonstration of a software extension called Gantiffy. And this software extension allows us to convert a Basecamp project into a Gantt chart. This right here is the homepage of Gantiffy. The URL for it is gantt-chart.com. And what this allows you to do is work with Basecamp, Google Calendar, or Trello accounts to create a Gantt chart. This software is going to provide the ability to manage projects more efficiently and hopefully reduce or eventually eliminate the toggling between Microsoft Project and Basecamp. So I just want to point out some of the cool things about Gantiffy. It provides a flexible timeline. It provides a quick overview of the project flow. Like I said, it also provides the ability to take a snapshot of the project as an image or a PDF, and I'll show you that in a minute. Charts can be printed or posted. The ability to create a direct link to the project, to the Gantt chart, is one of the features. And it works with most browsers, including Safari for iPhone and iPad. It's currently free, which is really cool. And like I said, it works with Basecamp. All you really need is a Basecamp account, and you just need to sign in. So when you get to this homepage, you're going to click on Basecamp. You're going to allow access to your Basecamp account. And if you're already signed into Basecamp, it's going to pull your projects right up. So it's going to show you here every project that you have and list them, all the projects that you have in Basecamp. David had created for me this Demetria's Playground as a little test area for me to kind of play around with this software. And so that's what we'll use to demonstrate how to use Gantiffy. You have three options when you get to this page. You can click on the project name or Gantt chart, and that's going to bring you to the same place. You can create a direct link, and that's going to give you a link, like I mentioned earlier, to the Gantt chart, which I'll open in a minute. Or you can create an image, which is going to be a snapshot, and you can give it parameters for the image. Give it a second to load here. You can do what type of time scale you want. You can give it you can see the complete schedule or part of the schedule, show weekends or not, and then click on printer settings, which are going to be either full color or printer friendly, and then you export that to an image. And then the same goes for the PDF. You have those same options, and then you can either save it as a PDF file or you can print it. I'm going to click on Gantt chart. It's going to show you your project in Gantt format, in a Gantt chart format. So here you see a traditional Gantt chart without dependencies. The one thing this does not, our version of Basecamp does not allow us to do with this Gantiffy is create dependencies. So this is strictly going to be our task list laid out in Gantt format. Right here, you'll see the title of your project, and then you'll see all of the tasks within that project. Like I said, this is a mock-up. David gave me a testing area, so I just kind of copied and pasted some of the to-dos from other projects and played around with them. Okay, so like I said, you had the three options. Once you get here, if you have not put in the Gantiffy format into Basecamp tasks, all you're going to see on here, instead of these blocks of time, I'm going to see if I can find one. I know I had one on here earlier. You're just going to see check marks. So you're not going to actually be able to see any of these bars of timelines and be able to get the actual timeline of the project. It's just going to show up as check marks. So in order to get what you want, you have to first start in Basecamp and inside the project that you're working in. So I'm going to choose Demetria's Playground. And you have to format your to-do in a particular format. So I'm just going to add a to-do so that I can show you exactly what I mean. So I'll go to the top here and create a to-do. Actually, let me pick the project. So I'll go into English 101, add a to-do, and then we'll say testing Gantiffy. whoops, no, I can't even spell. Sorry, Gantiffy. Testing Gantiffy. Once you have the title of the to-do list or the to-do list task name, you're going to put a comma, and then you have a few options. You can either create a start date, you can put in a duration, or you can put in both. If you just put a start date, let me first tell you the format. So the format is comma, space, the word start, a colon, and then you're going to put a date in this format. It's going to be the 2-day month, 2-day day, and 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. So May 15th, 2016. You can have a start date without a due date, but that will only come up on the chart as a check mark. So we're not going to do that. We're going to put in a due date of May. Let's choose May 20th. Okay, so a 5-day duration, but we haven't put in specific duration. We just put in a start date. So I'm going to add this to do, and then we're going to go back to the chart, and we're going to pull up the Gantt chart. Once you're here, we're going to scroll down to English 101, where we put the to-do list, the task, and testing Gantiffy. So you'll see here it's still remaining. It hasn't been assigned. It has a start date of May 15th and an end date of May 20th. So it's going to be a six days in duration. It's going to be demonstrated over here as a multiple day event, and it's going to be demonstrated as a part of the timeline here. Okay, so that's one way that you can add that to your project into your Gantt chart. So let me go back and change it to the duration. So again, the format's almost going to be the exact same. You're going to have the title of the task, a comma, and then instead of start, you're going to spell out duration. Still going to have a colon there. And then you're going to determine the duration. So let's say we just want it to still be 6 days. So we're going to do 6 days, and then it's a due date. Let's assign that to David Cowsert and save the changes. And then we'll go ahead and pull back up the Gantt chart. Go down to English 101. And now you'll see it's been assigned, and it's the same outcome. Start date the 15th, end date the 20th, 6-day duration, and it's demonstrated here on the Gantt chart. But here you'll notice that it doesn't say duration. It just has a comma there. So it's going to assign that on its own. So it's pretty straightforward. The other combination that you can do in order to make sure this shows up on your timeline for the Gantt chart is you can go in and you can assign both a duration as well as a start date. So the way you do that is the same format, the name of the task, testing Gantiffy, comma, you put the duration first, colon, 6D for day, and then you just put a space, and then you put the start, colon, and then when you want the project to start. So the project is due May 20th, so we want it to start, let's just change it up a little bit, and we want it to start on the 13th of May. And remember, it's 2, 2, and 4. And then save those changes. Go back here. Oops. I don't know why I can't find where I had that, so we'll just reopen it. Oh, you know what I forgot to take off? I apologize, I forgot to take off the due date. So I want to show you that you can, the only time you can do the no due date and have it show up is when you put both a duration as well as a start date. So we'll remove the due date, save the changes. We'll come back to this and we'll go down to English 101 and I'll show you that it's there on the chart. Testing Gantiffy. Now it's starting on the 13th and it moved the end date because we didn't give it a due date. It moved the end date to the 18th because we gave it a duration of 6 days. So you can see here days total still showing up in the timeline, but it moved the date because I started it 2 days earlier and I didn't give it a due date, but I gave it a duration. So that's a really cool thing that it does. If you try to put into Basecamp, for example, a task with just a duration and no due date, then it's just going to come up as an error because it doesn't know when to start or end. The only thing you can do without a due date is a start or just a due date itself. Those both show up on the chart the exact same. So let me show you what that looks like. If I just remove this duration and keep the start with no due date, save that change, go back here, then it's going to just show up as a check mark. So it's going to show that you have that task on your project, but it's not going to really give you much detail. So you can see that here. It's just going to show you a check mark. So you know that there's something that needs to be done, but you don't know when it needs to start, end, or how many days. So that's pretty much the gist of how to use this. Again, there's no dependencies. So in a traditional Gantt chart, you can connect and say, you know, first this needs to happen before this can start. You can do a start to start dependency or you start to finish dependency, but this current version of Basecamp does not allow us to do that. So that's pretty much how to use this. And when you go and if you want to share this chart, like I said, you can either click here for image, which I already demonstrated earlier, or you can click here for PDF. And you can choose the dates that you want to look at, how you want that to be displayed. So we'll just do day large because it kind of gives a nice breakdown of exactly what's going on, but you can get all the way down to minutes, 5, 10, 15, or an hour. We'll do day, part of schedule. I'll choose from May 1st. Let's do May 1st to May 30th. Or May 31st. Print it on one, so we'll zoom it to fit, and then show weekends. You can either show those or hide those. Printer friendly is fine, and then I want it to be landscape orientation. And this, I don't have my printer hooked up to do this, so I'm going to click print here, and it's going to save it to my computer, give me the option to save it as a PDF file. So we'll just say Gantt test, save it to desktop, and then pull that up and you'll see it's giving me a PDF here and it shows you a snapshot of the project right here. So it's a really useful tool if you just need a quick idea of what's going on in each of the different projects that you're working on. So I hope this is helpful. Please let me know what questions you have if I haven't covered anything, and I will be sure to get those answered for you. Thanks, guys.